Hey everybody, hope everyone's doing well today. So last week we did a video about when you have to wear a mask in COVID-19, and as Murphy's Law would have it, as soon as we make that video and put it out to everybody, the governor goes ahead and changes the rules. As many people know, yesterday in Massachusetts, Governor Baker issued a new emergency order, actually several new emergency orders, which we're going to talk about this week. We're going to call it our COVID series pretty much, because we're going to go through each of them, explain what you have to do, what's required and what's not. But today I want to do basically just an update to what we did last week concerning when you have to wear a mask and when you don't have to wear a mask. So in making this change, due to the increase in cases recently for COVID-19 in Massachusetts, the governor, using again his state of emergency powers, issued this, it's actually an executive order as it relates to masks. So basically the changes are this. This is when you have to wear a mask. Anyone over the age of 5, whenever they're basically either indoors or outdoors in any public space, has to wear a mask with a few exceptions. I'll get into those in a minute. So basically this means, obviously if you're in a store, whether it be the grocery store, the pharmacy, like we've talked about, go to Dunkin' Donuts, in a restaurant, fast food or otherwise, you got to wear a mask. But what's significant about this change is not just that, because we all knew that already, but now, even when you're outside, any public place outside, in a park, just walking down the street, even when you can maintain social distance with somebody else, basically staying more than 6 feet away from someone else, you still have to wear a mask. So, prime example of this is I'm walking down my street, it's late in the afternoon, there's nobody around, I'm the only one on the street. This new executive order requires that I will have to wear a mask in those circumstances or possibly be subject to a fine. Now, you also have to wear a mask in other situations. So again, like I talked about, in a store of any kind, you got to wear a mask. In a restaurant, unless you're sitting at your table eating, you got to wear a mask. If you're on public transportation like the T, got to wear a mask. Ubers, Lyfts, if you hire a car livery service like a limo or a town car, you have to wear a mask. If you're carpooling with someone who doesn't live in your household, in other words, more than one person in the car, and you don't happen to live with that person, you have to wear a mask under this particular order. It's pretty ridiculous in so many ways. Basically any public event, indoors, outdoors, any public place, like I said, walking down the street, even if you're alone, even if you can maintain that social distance of more than 6 feet, you got to wear the mask. Now, there are a few exceptions to this. Like I said, it relates to people who are over the age of 5. They do say, they suggest anyone between the ages of 2 and 5 is wearing a mask in these circumstances, but if you're over 5, it's definitely going to relate to you. Some of the exceptions include if you have a medical disability of some kind that you can document. You got to show medical documentation for this to apply. That you can't wear a mask for medical reasons or some other disability. And one of the other exemptions is if you're trying to communicate with a person who's hearing impaired. Perhaps it's a deaf person who only can read lips, or they just can't understand you due to their hard of hearing for some other way because you're wearing the mask, it's muffling the sound in some kind. That's another example. If you're alone by yourself in a car, you don't have to wear a mask. If you're at the dentist's office and your teeth are being worked on at that point in time, great, you don't have to wear a mask at that point in time. Or if you're swimming, you don't have to wear a mask while you're swimming. But pretty much think of any other circumstance where you're outside your house, in public, or the public has a right of being in your office or otherwise, you're supposed to be wearing a mask under this new executive order. Employees, speaking of offices, employees who don't want to wear a mask and are claiming some sort of medical issue or other disability, they're required to give, again, some sort of documentation to their employer to prove this particular disability, medical exemption or medical disability, so that they don't have to wear a mask. Just looking at my notes here for a second, make sure I'm not missing anything. What I will say is similar to before, if they will enforce this, basically owners of stores or restaurants can decline you service if you're not following the rules. The Department of Public Health, the local boards of health, and even the police, particularly the police, are going to be used to help enforce this this particular executive order. Like before, the enforcement is a civil fine of up to $300. Essentially, you'll be issued a ticket similar to a traffic ticket. It's civil in nature; it's not criminal in nature. And you do have the right, just similar to a traffic ticket, to appeal the issuance of that ticket. If you don't want to pay it and you don't think you're in the wrong, or you don't think you should have to pay it, you can appeal it to the district court. Like I said, similar to a traffic ticket, but it is civil in nature. It is not criminal. You will not be arrested. It does not go on your criminal record, any violation of this particular order. So like I said, there's a number of orders that got issued yesterday that we're going to be going through, and I've started to look at them already. And each day this week, we put out a new video that deals with those particular orders issued by Governor Baker yesterday on November 2nd. Now, keep in mind, I didn't say this at the beginning, but these particular orders do not go into effect until this coming Friday, November 6th. So basically at midnight on November 6th is when all the orders go into effect. And if you're not wearing a mask in basically any public place at that point in time, you may be subject to this particular fine. Like I said, there's some other orders we're going to talk about this week concerning curfew advisories and businesses shutting down for certain periods of time. But just stay tuned for that. We'll get to that as soon as possible. Like I said, guys, like always, if you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email, or leave a comment below the video.